flex right stack, 394 dragon smoke, chill, turbo, sucker right. Y2, green right off nasty, hell to Y2, the X base
Hey, welcome back in the huddle. We've been gone for too long, but Sky and Star were back in the huddle to talk to you guys about the Fantasy Football League and where we've been the past few weeks. We've been gone, been on vacation. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, to everybody. How was your Christmas, man?
Man, best one in a long while. So I'm grateful, appreciative. It was great. It was a great time.
I got a question though, because for those who don't know, Skylar got a record player for Christmas and a lot of records. And so then Ashley came to me and was like, "We should get one too for our living room." And I'm like, "Why?" Like that's not our thing. She's like, "But it can be. We can sit down and put a record on and have some drinks and vibe out." And I'm like,
She wanted to be me so bad.
"It's not." I said, "How many times are we actually gonna use that thing? First of all, where are you gonna put it? Because you gotta buy a stand for the living room and put it on. You know what I'm saying? Then you gotta buy records. So now, how you gonna store those records? Because you already had the issue with storing CDs and DVDs. And we had to figure out how to get rid of those. So now you're going back to that.
You being
Nah.
real practical right now.
That's always a problem. I'm always too logical. I always make too much sense. She's gonna spend the money first and then figure it out later.
Enjoy the little things, man. Enjoy them.
Hey, well, I'm glad everybody had a good Christmas. We want to come back to you and talk to you about last week's games. Congratulations to everybody who made the playoffs. And then go over this week's game, the championship game. And congrats to those who made championship. It was a Quantum Mario hand clap. So quickly, I mean, it's gonna be a short one for you guys today, but let's go over last week's games. Spoiler alert: I didn't get to the playoffs, so I wasn't in there. So you and Quan, and how'd you feel about that loss?
Man, the loss didn't hurt as much as I thought it would, just because I knew I had a lot of injuries. But
yeah,
it went down to the wire for real. If the Packers wouldn't have played the Saints, I felt like, or if they would have played Jacobs the entire game, he would have got that. He would have got enough points for me to at least make it closer than what it was. So
yeah. See,
man.
I mean, a loss is a loss, but I look at the matchup and I see that she didn't do anything wrong. Like, you put the right starters in. You know what I'm saying? You had the right start decisions. I mean, in my opinion, I would much rather lose this way, to where like you just can't do anything about it. You did everything right, made the right decisions, and you just lost because it's fantasy football, rather than start somebody and then they had a dud, and then somebody else on your bench and they went off, and had you made the right decision, you could have won. So, I mean, I think you did everything right. I can't. He just had a better game. I mean, Taylor went off. He had a crazy game,
bruh.
Crazy game.
I know you felt that too, because he would have went off last week if he ain't dropped the ball when he played in the playoffs last week in the other league.
Yeah, it was man, he's been kind of up and down, kind of dormant all year, but I guess he's fresh now.
I guess so.
So now he's balling out. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to say too much about it. It was a good game, like you said. Quan's team just came out on top. He had more firepower. And then who we had, it was now Mario and Eamon. That was a close one.
Man,
that was a real close one.
I was like, when it got down to the wire, I was like, damn, this is what the playoffs is supposed to look like.
Yeah, it was good. I was looking at Eamon's team, and I could see where he messed up by benching Herbert and starting Matt Stafford. I can't say that I probably wouldn't have did the same thing. I don't know. Herbert was. They both were up and down. On paper,
it was a toss-up for real.
Yeah, it was a toss-up. On paper, the matchups look bad, but the Jets and Denver have both been getting passed on these past few weeks, so it wasn't a bad matchup for neither one of them. Damn, but Mario came out. Saquon's been balling all year. You can't stop him.
That combination is just a lot, and him by himself, just
Yeah.
gets him over the top. Like, and if he gets the targets for Neighbors, like he can have a potentially explosive game, like just off of them just
Mhm.
trying to come back because they're gonna lose.
Saquon, man, I remember the trade, or not the trade, but the free agency. Remember him going to the Eagles, and they were saying that the Eagles' offensive line is a beast, and he's gonna have a great year. But I can't. I'd be lying if I saw that. I foresaw him having the historically NFL record type year, that type of season. Um, he's been
This
carrying.
this was his expectation if the Giants were good. Like, I didn't know it was gonna be like this though. Like that's how bad the
Right.
Giants are. That's how bad the Giants are.
So does the
So
GM and the head coach of the Giants get fired this offseason?
no, because they were right. You got to prioritize the quarterback that you spent all this money on, and your team wasn't going to be exponentially better with a Saquon. Like, I don't think he was going to win you 3 more games. So now they
I
have the
mean,
cap.
okay, well, the way he's balling, I would say yeah, but he probably wouldn't have been balling like this had he been behind that Giants offensive line.
Right. That's
Yeah.
my point. Like, how many more games is he really? Is he going to win you enough games to get you to the playoffs?
So, but what we talking about though? We talk about
No,
Giants
no, no.
actually.
That's just
But
the
the question,
question, though.
okay, to your point, probably not, probably not. But if I'm the Giants, am I thinking about this year or am I thinking about like the next few years? I'm looking at my team now, like we're not really a playoff team right now. I'm thinking about building on the next few years and how much money could they have saved if they went with Saquon and saving the quarterback position because they paid him a boatload of money that they could have used
Mm-hmm.
to build around Saquon, build a better offensive line, had a decent record and draft a quarterback next year, and then now being a
Mm-hmm.
playoff team next year with a better offensive line, maybe a better defense a little bit, and some more picks. And Saquon has how many more years does he have left?
I don't know. I just know, regardless, it wasn't going to be anything close to this. Like, but this is he's reaching his ceiling.
Yeah.
So
Oh, this is
that's what
yeah.
I'm happy to see. Like,
Yeah.
if nothing else, like I won't be upset because I'm seeing good football. Like, fuck it at this
Yeah.
point. Like our team is so bad. You just got to enjoy watching football at this point. You're not even enjoying watching your team. Like, you're watching just football at that point. So
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. So is Brian Thomas the best rookie receiver? He put up 46 points last week for him.
I would say so.
He's got more yards than Neighbors, I believe, but definitely less targets and less receptions.
But is that Neighbor's fault?
It's not his fault, no, but I'm okay. So there's
Do
two.
you mean just number wise, or you just mean
Yeah, so I'm
like
saying
or
there's
do you
talent
mean like how
wise
do
and
you
there's
feel
number
about it?
wise.
You mean
Yeah,
like how
like
I feel about it, or
after the season's been done now, and you see the draft order that went last time. We went Harrison first, then Neighbors. I don't know who was third. I don't know if Brian Thompson was third or not, but if you go back and redraft that, you're still drafting in our fancy draft. You're still drafting Harrison and Neighbors before
fantasy wise,
fancy wise.
I'm taking I'm taking Brian.
Okay.
So Brian Neighbors, then McConkey.
Yeah. I probably Harrison killed me, man. He has a potential though. I mean, he has a talent.
I just don't think Kyler Murray is good.
So watching him play a lot this year because he was on my team. I realize every time it comes down to like the fourth quarter or a final drive or like trying to win the game, he always fucks it up. He's always an interception or like a sack or something like that, or he just throws the ball somewhere crazy. Like he's not clutch. It seems like, but like he can just if the game is like middle of the pack or they're winning, he can get you those points with his legs and and be solid that way. But when it comes down to the clutch, I feel like he always fucks it up every time.
So how many more years do they waste on Kyler Murray?
Um, at least
How
one or
many
two
years
more.
have?
I mean, this is the first year under the new OC, right? Under the new coaching staff.
Yeah.
So I mean, was it
So it's next year if they don't make the playoffs? Is like
if they don't go to the playoffs next year, then yeah, then it's time to look at Kyler Murray. Like maybe it's time to move on. So I'm saying like 1 or 2 years.
and that's what I'm feeling about the Marvin Harrison situation.
Oh,
The next
who's gonna
year,
be?
the next year will be very telling of where his career will be,
Yeah,
fantasy wise and in real life.
yeah, that's true.
It's a big off season.
It is. I mean, and they were. I mean, they were. How many games they win? They were
7.
close to the playoffs. I want to say, weren't they?
They were one game out of the playoffs, and when they
Yeah.
lost out. They controlled their destiny.
Right, right. So I mean, the team wasn't horrible. So I wouldn't say that like he's on the chopping block right now. But
But how many games did they lose because he didn't win them?
that's fair. But my point is though, if next year, let's say they won what 7 games this year. I can't remember what it is. Let's say he won 7 games this year. If they
Mhm.
win like 9 next year, I mean, is that progression? Is that enough progression?
No,
Or is
just make
that?
the playoffs.
I mean, now I might get you in there. Now I might
Just
get
make
you
the
in there.
playoffs. However, just make the playoffs.
Yeah. He's still young though. I mean, the question also is like, what's your alternative? You know what I mean? You could probably trade him and get something for him. What's your alternative?
They're a season away from only winning like 4 games. Like somebody gets hurt, and then now they have like a top 10 pick. Like, or they'll trade up from 20 up to 10 and give up something crazy.
Yeah. So if they lose, I agree. If they was to lose or win less games next year, then they'll be in that top 10 pick range. Maybe even top like 6, 7. And at that point, it gets like, tempting. Like, hey, do we just go ahead and shoot for the stars for that next QB, or do we just try to build around him and get like an old lineman or something
And
like
it's
that?
gonna
But
be a QB heavy draft, I think,
so this year, yeah, or next year's draft, I should
next
say.
year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. So yeah. So congrats again to Quan and Mario for winning their games in the semifinals. And let's talk about this championship game. This championship game. You're finally here. Long
Man.
ass season.
Oh man, the longest in a while.
Now, I would say it does kind of suck because we record this podcast a little late and the game's already started because of Christmas games and Thursday night games. So Quan's already in a small step forward in this, but let's do a little breakdown of this lineups and see what you think.
Well, prior to even yesterday's game, my prediction was based on Quan's team and the numbers they've been putting up over the past 6, 7 weeks. He's consistently in the high 300s, like, and I'm looking at his offense and I'm like, oh, even Bryce Young is putting up numbers now. Like the dude,
it's a problem.
that is unexpected, and that's a big plus for him. So
Yeah, that was a
and that
blessing.
Tampa Bay defense is hurt. So Kyron has been killing. T. Higgins has been playing well. So
he has. T. Higgins been playing real well, and he's gonna start this week, hopefully.
yeah, it's I had him winning prior to Thursday's game, and that is my prediction. To no slight to Mario's team, I just think if Breggs plays well, I think that'll cancel out Thielen for him. So that'll be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
but vice versa, you got Tyreek Hill canceling out Tua. Now, would you start Tua though? Would you start Tua over Rodgers? Rodgers has been
I would
solid.
Yeah, he's been playing like Rodgers.
I mean, he has Adams, I believe. Yeah, so I mean, either way, it hurts Mario. but Rodgers has been pretty solid these past few games, and Tua's matchup isn't the greatest. Because I don't think Cleveland
Yeah,
going to put up any points to really do anything. It's going to be might be a low scoring
low
game,
score game.
but the Jets play Buffalo, and Buffalo going to put up points,
Yeah,
and they're going to
exactly.
pass the ball to catch up. So I mean, at this point, looking at the score, because Wednesday and Thursday games already played, it looks like Mario needs to catch up a little bit. So at this point, you're kind of shooting for
take a
high
little
upside
rest.
players. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I mean, Tua has a higher upside, but I don't know if I see it against Cleveland. With DTR back there playing, I mean, I don't see them putting up a whole lot of points.
And is Waddle playing?
Right. And you saw what happened last week too. So if like I'm talking about the what's game? It was a Houston game. Oh, it's this week. When the game's out of hand, they're gonna start pulling players because the playoffs is around the corner. So
Exactly.
Miami go up like 20 some odd points in the fourth quarter. You might just see them bench Tua.
Yep, I can see that.
So I really wanted this before the game started. I really wanted to see Mario win one finally.
But
he's been playing a lot
Saquon is
better.
a wild card, so I can see him getting 100, but I can also see him getting 25 and then just sitting.
Yeah, that projection to me is like a trap. When you project somebody 33 points, it's like they almost always fall short of that.
Yeah.
So it's like you look at that, and you're like, but he's been balling. But you look at that, it's like, man, it's a trap, man.
But yeah, and Hurts isn't playing.
Oh yeah,
so
Hurts is out.
So how much will they really play? Like at this point,
did they already clinch the division? Can't recall if they clinched the division already.
No. I don't think so.
We had because the Commanders have 10 games, have won 10 games. I believe they won 13. I gotta check that, but I'm not sure if they clinched yet. If they clinched already, then it could be. I mean, it's Dallas. They're gonna still play hard against Dallas, but at some point in time, they may just be like, "Fuck it, Hurts is not here. Let's just go ahead and just sit down Brown and sit down Barkley." But you can't bench Barkley and Brown because of that. I mean,
you gotta play him.
You gotta play him and just hope for the best.
So it's that trap.
Yeah,
the same thing that happened with Jacobs. Buddy could have went crazy.
Yeah,
and they were just up big and just sat him.
Yeah,
one touch in the third quarter and then didn't play for the rest of the game.
But he had enough. He had enough in that first half.
Not enough for me. And then JK comes back, and I'm like, damn, I needed you last week, bro.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I feel like Quan has more firepower. Man, especially in the flex position. I mean, you have Thielen and Pollard going against Adams and Taylor.
Yeah,
that's the real big punch right there for me.
Yeah.
I think Brock Purdy has a good game against Detroit. He's gonna need to throw the ball a lot. But yeah, Calvin Ridley. He's up and down. He could do something good. Neighbors is playing hurt. If he does play, he's gonna need Saquon and Breece to really ball out. And I don't know if Breece, they both might have good games though, because Breece can catch the ball at the backfield. No, I think I have Quan. I think I have Quan going back to back with the championship. You hear that, Quan? I picked you last year and this year and through the season. So I don't want to hear nothing in the offseason talking about I talk shit about you all year. I'm picking you to win the game.
Man.
Never hear the end of that shit.
Back to back. Man, let's see if he can do it, man. It'll be impressive.
Only one who's done it so far is Chase in this league. And back to back is hard as fuck to do. So much props if he gets it.
For sure.
That's the one thing I've never done. So I can't even say anything about that one. Back to back is hard to do. I almost had it last year in Dynasty, but almost doesn't count. So almost does not count. Almost does not count at all. So are you you're in championship right now in which league? Dynasty, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck. Good luck, Quan. Good luck, Mario.
Good
See
luck
how
to
it
you
shakes
as
out.
well. You in championship weekend.
Yeah. I am championship weekend in the auction league. It's looking ugly right now for both of us. Bruh. It's
It's
looking
been
ugly
tough.
right now. Yeah, man. My team is a ragtag of players. If I
I don't
win,
have no
man.
other players. I have no other. Bro, my whole bench is red IR
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. It's bad.
So
It's bad. Keenan Allen didn't do shit for me, but he had Nico and he had Stroud, and they didn't do shit for him neither. But he had Henry, and Henry bought out. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I'm still in it though.
yeah.
A championship, at least one championship a year is is worth the admission.
Facts. Facts.
All right, y'all. We'll catch y'all next week. Next week we have we'll find out who won the championship, and we'll find out who won the awards, and we'll try to get EJ on here to do the Wheel of Shame to see if he'll do that. I got to reach out to him, see if he'll join us for that. But other than that, we'll see y'all next week. We out.
We out. Peace.